So repeat after me. Ishvara Paramaha Krishna
Ishvara Paramaha Krishna
Satchidananda Vigraha
Sachinananda Vigraha
Anadiradir Govindaha
Adiradir Govindaha
Sarvakarana Karanam.
Sarvakarana Karanam.
Krishna, who is known as Govinda, he is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and is the prime cause of all causes. Okay, Girish Prabhu, please read the purport.
Okay. Krishna is the exalted supreme entity having his eternal name, eternal form, eternal attribution, and eternal pastimes. The very name Krishna implies is loving, attracting designation, expressing by his eternal nomenclature, acme of entity. His eternal, beautiful, heavenly blue-tinged body glowing with the intensity of ever-existing knowledge has a flute in both hands. As his inconceivable spiritual energies all extending, still he maintains his all-charming medium size by his qualified spiritual instrumentals. His all-accommodating supreme subjectivity is nicely manifested in his eternal form. The concentrated all-time presence, uncovered knowledge, and invigorating felicity have their beauty in him. The mundane manifestive portion of his self is known as all-pervading Paramatma, Ishvara, superior Lord, or Vishnu, all-fostering. Hence it is evident that Krishna's sole supreme Godhead, his unrivaled or unique spiritual body of super excellent charm, is eternally unveiled with innumerable spiritual instrumentals, senses, and unreckonable attributes, keeping their signifying location properly, adjusting at the same time by his inconceivable consultative powers. This beautiful spiritual figure is identical with Krishna, and the spiritual entity of Krishna is identical with his own figure. The very intensely blended entity of eternal presence of felicitous cognition is the charming targeted holding or transcendental icon. It follows the conception of the indistinguishable formless magnitude, Brahman, which lacks presentiment of cognitive bliss, is merely a penumbra of intensely blended glow of three concomitants, be the blissful, the substantive, and the cognitive. This transcendental manifestive icon Krishna in his original face is primordial background of magnitudinal infinite Brahman and of the all-pervasive oversoul. Krishna is fully visioned in his variegated pastimes, such as owner of transcendental cows, chief of cowherds, consort of milkmaids, ruler of terrestrial abode Gokula, and object of worship by transcendental residents of Gokula beauties is Govinda. He is the root cause of all causes who are predominating and predominated agents of the universe. The glance of his projected fractional portion is the sacred originating water, vis-a-vis the personal oversoul or Paramatma, gives rise to a secondary potency nature who creates this mundane universe. This oversoul's intermediate energy brings forth the individual souls analogously to emanated rays of the sun. This book is a treatise of Krishna, so the preamble is enacted by chanting his name in the beginning.
Okay, nice. So there's a lot of information with some very hi-fi English. So some of the words
I know.
are not just commonly used. So here Krishna and his name, form, and attribution and pastimes are the same. So Krishna is coming in his name, in his attribution, in his form, and his eternal pastimes. So Krishna means loving, attracting. So the word Krishna means attractive. The word Rama means supreme pleasure. So when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, we are basically appealing to his attractive nature and his pleasure-giving potency, Rama. Hare means energy. So the mantra talks about his attractive potency, his pleasure potency, and his energy. Then we talk of his blue-tinged body, glowing with intensity of ever-existing knowledge. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat means eternity, Chit means conscious or knowledge, Ananda means bliss. So in this verse, we talked about Satchid Ananda Vigraha. Satchit Ananda Vigraha means we are talking about his ever-existing knowledge, that is the Chit potency. Sat means eternality. Chit means knowledge, ever-existing knowledge. Ananda means continuous bliss. So that is the definition of God. Not like everybody can become God. People have these various theories. And his inconceivable spiritual energy. Conceivable means that you can gauge and understand. Inconceivable means you cannot gauge. What is the starting? What is the end? So although he is all extending, means he is everywhere. But he has his qualifying spiritual potencies or instrumentals. So he's all accommodating supreme subjectivity. So he is absolute, but he accommodates all levels of subjectivity. He is manifested in his eternal form as Govinda. So this concentrated all-time presence, Sat, means is there everywhere, every place, eternally. Uncovered knowledge, that is the Chit. And inebriating felicity. Felicity means giving the facility for us to understand him, the bliss. Have their beauty in him. Mundane. Mundane means something which is material, which is normal, as opposed to something which is special or spiritual. So the mundane manifestative portion means he manifests in certain ways of his own self, is known as all-pervading Paramatma. So the Paramatma that is sitting in our heart for the mundane material world is still him. It's coming from him. Ishvara, superior Lord or Vishnu, all fostering. When we say Ishvara means controller, superior. We are all minute Ishvaras. We can control certain things, small things within our realm. Maybe part of our house, even the entire house we cannot control. Maybe part of the office, maybe our cubicle we control. Right? But we are not supreme Ishvara. It is evident that Krishna is the sole supreme Godhead. So there is one source from which everything comes. So even the various avatars all come from that single source. That is the Supreme Godhead. His unrivaled or unique spiritual body of super excellent charm. So he's very charming. So his spiritual body is very charming. He is eternally unveiled. Veil means you cover it with a piece of cloth. Unveiled means you open it up. So eternally unveiled with what? Innumerable spiritual instrumentals or senses. So you cannot count them. They are such a large number, innumerable. And unreckonable means you cannot understand or gauge or measure these attributes. Attributes means qualities, right? What is the attribute of length? Length is linear. You can measure it. That is an attribute of length. Similarly, he has unreckonable, means you cannot measure his attributes. keeping their signifying location properly, adjusting at the same time, is inconceivable. So he has got these inconceivable potencies or qualities, which means you cannot conceive them with your normal material senses. And so he has these inconceivable conciliative powers. He can reconcile various things. This beautiful spiritual figure is identical with Krishna, and spiritual entity of Krishna is identical with his own figure. Means when Nama Namnyo means his name and his form and his potencies are all the same. So when you say Krishna, you are accessing Lord Krishna. Just by saying Krishna. That's why when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we are directly in contact with the Supreme Lord. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the author of this book, author of this translation, he is the guru of Srila Prabhupada. So we talk of Prabhupada as being given the knowledge, but this knowledge came to Prabhupada from his guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he's the author of this book. It's not Prabhupada. Anyway, Prabhupada is just like a honorific, right? You're honoring somebody, just like you saying Mahajan, like that, right? So you are honoring them with a honorific. That is Prabhupada. So even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is also called Prabhupada. But he is not our Prabhupada. He is our Prabhupada's guru. So what does he say? The very intensely blended entity of eternal presence. So again, we are talking about the Sat quality. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Remember these three terms. So Krishna is Sat, Chit, Ananda, Vigraha. So he's not made with blood, veins, tissue, water. His body is made of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Very difficult for us to conceive, because here everybody has these blood and veins and pus, and then they pass urine and stool. So we think everything has to be like that, body has to be like that. No, Krishna's body is special, is made out of Sat, Chit, Ananda. So eternal presence of felicitous cognition. Cognitive means something that you can perceive. That's why artificial intelligence, they use these cognitive algorithms. Right? So we are not talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about natural existence here. And what is his cognition? Is the charming targeted holding of or transcendental icon. So he himself is the cognition. It follows that conception of indistinguishable formless magnitude. So we talked about Brahman. Brahman means God is existing everywhere. So which is indistinguishable. Like, every atom has presence of God. So one atom is indistinguishable from the other atom. Which is an indolent. Indolent means lazy. Lax means careless. Presentment of cognitive bliss. So Brahman is just an external manifestation of the internal energy of the Lord. So Prabhupada, as Guru, he uses very strong words. Indolent means this is a lazy man's explanation of Brahman. When you can go to Bhagavan, why do you want to go to Brahman? But most people don't even know what Brahman is, so forget it. Right? People are only after hot dogs and baseball and beer, and they will never come to this understanding of what Brahman is. Forget understanding what Bhagavan is. So unless somebody is vegetarian, non-alcoholic, the body has to be a certain amount of purity to understand these concepts. Otherwise, it won't sink in. You have to, therefore, give up these bad qualities of drinking, smoking, philandering, having illicit sex, to understand this subject. Otherwise, that's the reason most people don't understand. Right? There are 2.2 million people in Greater Seattle. Maybe 10 people can understand this subject. That's it. It is so rare. That's why Prabhupada's guru says indolent, lazy. This Brahman understanding is lazy. And the material understanding is even for total wackos. the material life of working, making money, and drinking beer and watching baseball. That is like almost on the animal platform. If I say this, people will become very angry. But that's what it is. Because they cannot understand anything beyond that. There is always a ball and somebody takes a bat and hits that ball. And that is considered something very great. Whether it's baseball, hockey, golf, tennis, there's always a ball and you hit that ball. That is considered to be very great in the material world. But there is something higher, right? Brahman is higher than that. But even Prabhupada's guru says, Brahman is for lazy people. So you have to go even higher than Brahman. So if you don't understand it fully, don't worry. It takes many, many years to understand this subject. It's very deep. So this transcendental manifestative icon, Krishna, in his original phase, is the primordial background. Primordial means at the beginning of the universe. Transcendental means not in ignorance, not in passion, not in goodness. Transcend, cross over all of these material qualities. So you cross over these material qualities and you look at the original person. That's why Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadir. Adi means beginning. Anadi means no beginning. Krishna has no beginning. He's there before anything started. Anadir, Adir, he's the first person. Adi means first. Govinda means somebody who takes care of cows, not just our cows, but transcendental cows in the spiritual world. Even the cows there are transcendental. They are not affected by passion, ignorance, right? Like bulls are very much affected by passion. Cows are like lazily grazing and eating grass. They don't know that tomorrow they'll be killed in a slaughterhouse, right? So these cows are crossing over that ignorance and passion and goodness, coming to pure goodness. Again, an advanced topic, not everybody will understand it. And then such an owner of the transcendental cows, and he's the chief of the cowherds. There are many, many cowherd boys in the spiritual world. And the chief of them is Krishna. And is the consort of the milkmaids, the gopis. Ruler of the terrestrial abode Gokula. We are not talking about our Gokula. We are talking about the transcendental spiritual Gokula. Although we have a reflection of that in our material world, the 64 crores, like 84 crores place in the Mathura district is a reflection of that spiritual Gokula. And who is this owner, the chief, the consort, the ruler, an object of worship? He is Govinda. That is why it says, Govindhamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Like when I first came into Krishna Consciousness, we used to get together in the temple and we used to recite Brahma Samhita. Now people get into the temple and they say, oh, my son got admission in University of California. Oh, my son's taekwondo class is getting delayed. Back in 2003 to 2005, we were only like 10 devotees. We used to get together in a temple, read Brahma Samhita, read Bhagavad Gita, read Srimad Bhagavatam. Now the culture has changed in our temple. Now people talk about everything else except Krishna. Unfortunately, I miss those days, 2003 to 2006. He is the root cause of all causes who are predominating and predominated. Predominating means somebody who is superior. Predominated means somebody who is being ruled, agents of the universe. The glance of his projected fractional portion is the sacred originating water. So when he glances, that the sacred Ganga comes from his vision. And the personal oversoul or Paramatma comes. So Paramatma in your heart is slightly lesser energetic than the supreme energy Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. Right? First of all, people don't even know that there is Paramatma in the heart. They think that they are running the show. In fact, Paramatma in the heart is running the show for all of us. And the modes of material nature are running the show for the material body externally. So, this glance gives rise to a secondary potency nature. Who creates this mundane universe? So, the secondary potency is Karnodakshai Mahavishnu. Again, a very advanced topic. Karnodakshai Mahavishnu. From Karnodakshai Mahavishnu comes Garbhodakshai Mahavishnu. And from Garbhodakshai Mahavishnu comes Kshirodakshai Mahavishnu. At this point, you're all probably already yawning and saying, I want to go to sleep. What is all this? Right? Very, very intense topic. Too much information. So this Paramatma or Oversoul, Srila Prabhupada translates Paramatma as Super Soul, and his Guru translates as Oversoul, means above all the souls. Super Soul is also same meaning. You are super. You are above all these individual souls. We are all souls, and he is the Super Soul or Oversoul. The Paramatma's intermediate energy brings forth the individual souls analogously to the emanated rays of the sun. So when you see sun is quite far away, millions of miles away. But you can see the sun because those emanated rays pierce through our atmosphere and then come to our eyes. Right? Similarly, the Paramatma's energy comes forth as individual souls, you and me. Right? Now you see the connection that you are not independent of the Lord because you emanate from the Lord. We are not independent of the Lord. But when we think we are independent, in that very second, we are put into Maya. And then we suffer what? These miseries that we are suffering every day. One day it is tire puncture. One day his car doesn't start. One day roof is leaking. One day your subordinate at work don't show up. One day your boss gives you more work. All this is effect of Maya. And why is Maya taking hold? Because we have forgotten Krishna. We have forgotten Krishna. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Krishna bhuliya. Bhulna in Hindi means forgetfulness. Krishna bhuliya jeev bhog vancha kare. Bhog means enjoyment. Vancha means desire. So when the jeev, the independent Atma, forgets Krishna and wants to enjoy this material world by building buildings, enjoying cars, movies, volleyball, football, then what happens? Chapate Maya jhapatiya dare. Maya will slap you. Jhapad. In Hindi, jhapad means slap. So we are all under Maya right now. Because we forgot Krishna, we are under Maya. Krishna bhuliya, jeev bhog vancha kare. Bhog means enjoyment. Vancha means desire. Maya tate jhapatiya dare. Maya slaps you. Fat, fat, fat. Right and left, we are getting slapped every day. One day it is cancer. One day it is old age. One day it is loss of job. One day it is something else. Day in and day out, we are getting slapped right, left, and center. Why? Because Krishna bhuliya. We forgot Krishna. We all forgot Krishna. We are now slowly trying to wake up from that deep sleep. Hey, what happened? I have to wake up. Where is Krishna? So till such time that we fully engage in Krishna's seva or Krishna consciousness, Maya will be slapping us left and right. That's her duty. Just like a school principal will not trouble the good students. But if some student smokes in the class, or copies on exams, right? The principal will now become very ferocious. She will say, okay, I will bar you, debar you for 1 month from school, or in certain cases, 1 year from school, right? Similarly, Maya will not trouble the good guys, the people who are pure devotees of Krishna. But when she sees somebody like me who is not really paying attention to Krishna, she will slap me, right? So I have been a victim of cancer. I have lost jobs more than the number of times you can count in the last 25 years. All right. So Maya will be slapping right and left and right and left. If Maya has not already slapped you, it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. One of my friends, he's like a very good person. I mean, very good, not spiritually, but good at stock market. So he was selling and buying and selling and buying, and he grew out his portfolio to a few $1 million. And he thought, hey, this is very easy. Life is so good. Then one day, a couple of people knocked on his door. He opens the door. He said, sir, we are from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It looks like some of the stocks that you purchased have been tainted. Tainted means they have been affected in some way. And we suspect you are doing insider trading. Now it will cost him at least $250,000 to get out of that, situation where Maya has put him in. Right? So for the last 12 years, the big bull was raging, making tons of money. Krishna bhuliya. He forgot Krishna. Jiva, the soul. Bhogvancha kare, enjoyment propensity. Maya tate jhapatiya dare. Maya slapped him. Fat. It will happen to you also, don't worry. Sooner or later. If it has not already happened to you. Because Maya is not like, Arey, I love Jaypal better. I'll leave him alone. Aisa kuch nahi hai. Right? When convicts come to a jail, superintendent will not say, Arey, this guy is from Sindh or Punjab. He's my brother, so I won't trouble him. No, he has committed a crime. He killed somebody. Now he has to be punished for 10 years. Chal hut. Kick him, put him in a solitary cell, and every day shower galis on him. You must have seen some of those movies where they show the treatment that the prisoners are given. Right? Same thing, it will happen with us also. It has happened to me many times. It will continue to happen till, one of my colleagues was putting a sticker on her laptop. And the sticker said, the beatings will continue till morale improves. You know the meaning? The beatings will continue till the morale improves. So till we turn our attention to Krishna, Maya Devi will beat us. If she has not already beaten us, just wait. She has just cut you some slack. That's all she has done. Right? So all the great guys have been beaten by Maya one time or the other in their life. Bill Gates thought, I am the king of the software industry. So then what happened? Anybody know what happened? Nobody reads newspapers, huh? So they found some pictures of him with that other guy who was recently killed and with some girls with very few clothes on them. Let me put it that way. So the Microsoft board started an investigation on him. And now he's no longer the chairman. Satya Nadella is the chairman. If you have not followed newspapers, you should go and check it out. So the founder of the company is no longer on the board. Yes, he still has the money because he has the stock, but he's no longer on the board. Kicked out, sadly, because I worked in Microsoft for 10 years. So I have a little bit of a soft corner. So you name it. Anybody has been beaten, right? Especially people, the higher the rise, the greater the fall. That is my duty. If you forget Krishna, she will beat you right, left, and center. Except, of course, if you remember Krishna. Therefore, we should remember Krishna and not be beaten by his energy called Maya. And then he is also called Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the root cause of all causes. He is the root cause. Like in Six Sigma, you do an RCA, root cause analysis. So if you do an RCA on this material world, after many, many lifetimes, you'll come to figure out that Krishna is the Supreme Personality and that you need to surrender to him. Whether you are a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew or a Hindu, doesn't matter. You have to surrender to the Supreme Lord. If you surrender to Sai Baba, it's not going to give the desired benefit. Why? Because Sai Baba is not the Supreme Personality. If you surrender to Donald Trump, you're not going to get relief. If you surrender to Biden, you're not going to get relief. You have to surrender to the root. And who is the root cause? That is Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam. That's what the last line of the verse says. Right? Sarva Karana Karanam. Until such time that you do, or you don't, I should say, you will be beaten in one way or the other. And I've seen Maya in action in my lifetime, personally. And you will also see. Now you will know why this is happening. Previously, you thought everything is random. No, sir, it's not random. You will be beaten right and left by Maya Devi. It's only a matter of time. For some people, she'll wait 20 years. Some people, she'll wait 2 days. But she will beat you. Okay, thoughts, questions? That's a pretty intense discussion so far. No thoughts, no questions? Okay, think about it. We'll end the class today here. Think about it. Go to Vedaves and read this once again in your free time. Then you think about it. What is happening here? Who is the prime cause of all causes? Right? Who is the cause of Amazon? Jeff Bezos. Who is the cause of Bezos? His parents. Who is the cause of his parents? Their parents. So if you go on this chain, then you will know that the original parent is Krishna. So the cause of good, bad, and ugly in this material world is ultimately, indirectly, or directly Krishna. That's it. End of story. And why does all the bad thing happen in the world? Because we have forgotten Krishna. So then Krishna's external energy called Maya comes and attacks. And she takes over. Right? So Russia is thinking they are attacking Ukraine. Maya is attacking both Russians and the Ukrainians and the Americans who think that they are sending missiles to control the situation. In the end, it will be a big chaos, a big mess, which will take about 3 or 4 decades to clean. Just like World War II mess, we are just finishing cleaning up right now. It took us, 1945 to 2020 to clean up all that mess in World War II. Okay, so read this again. That's your homework. And we will meet you next Friday. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.